Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today it's the return. Finally, I've not done one at all this season. I've not done one in ages. It's the return of the Back Pages, a series which I had a lot of fun with last season and I've been dying to do once more. I done a poll last night on the community section of the channel asking if you would like to see this series return. It was a resounding yes from those who voted. So now that the podcast is no longer on a Monday, I need a Monday slot. I need something here that feels natural to have that Back Pages series back. So let's get into that. Before we go any further with the video, please make sure to check out the top line of the description and download the OneFootball app. OneFootball will give you everything you need to know in regards to the world of football. Any team you want, any league you want, any results, live scores, news stories, anything, all in the one place. Using my link helps both me and the channel sponsor, so make sure to check that out. So I feel like we've gained about 10,000 extra subscribers since the last time we'd done an episode of the Back Pages. It might be a series that is very strange and very new to a lot of you guys. The whole point in the Back Pages is a conversation rather than just a video giving out some news. It's my opinions to stuff that the papers are reporting on, the MSM are reporting on, and giving my sort of view and opinions towards those opinions and discussing everything that is involved in today's news. That could be a range of things. It's not just to do with Celtic, it can be to do with Rangers, it can be to do with anything else in Scottish football. It's really quite a wide sort of subject area that we can cover. So I like doing this. It makes me break down the conversation a little bit more and react to other people's opinions who seem to be in the sort of media bubble, if you like. So it is something new to some of you probably. Let's have some fun with it. It's always a good laugh looking at some of the nonsensical comments. It's always a good laugh looking at some of the reasonable comments, because everybody in the comments section has an opinion too, so it's really good to get everybody involved, and ultimately it's just something a little bit different from I normally do on this channel. So let's get into it. Let's start then. So Monday morning, it's the day after Celtic dropping points to Dundee United. The Back Pages are probably going to be very Celtic orientated and very Ange Postecoglou orientated, which they've always been Celtic related since we started this series. Right at the start of the 2021 campaign when Celtic's dip in form began. So you know, it's pretty natural that we're going to be going right back into it like that. We're going to start with the famous, the Daily Record, of course, whatever you want to call it, Daily Rangers, Daily Rebel, Daily whatever. Yeah, Daniel Craig in the top. Who's looking forward to the new Bond film? Because I am buzzing. I'm a huge Bond fan, by the way. I don't know if you know that about me. I love Bond. Got the whole box set, every single one of them. Massive Bond fan. Can't wait to go and see the new film with my dad. But in other news, yeah, the Back Pages on the Record Sport, as you'd expect, Ange Postecoglou right down there in the bottom corner, the headline: how can you call a title after 7 games? Defying Ange insists hoops still in hunt. Ange Postecoglou insists he's not throwing in the towel on Celtic's title hopes, despite his side slipping 6 points adrift of leaders Rangers. The Aussie boss was hoping to see his men bounce back from last week's Livingston loss as they hosted Dundee United. Now, we spoke about that very briefly yesterday in the match review video, and we spoke about Ange's post-match reaction. There was a couple of comments which I wasn't too sure about, a couple that raised some eyebrows, but one comment that I think I do agree with the manager and I agree with a lot is the whole calling the title after 7 games. Look, we're not in a great position right now, and I'm going to be honest and realistic when saying I don't think Celtic will win the title this season, but it is very easy for us as supporters and very easy for opposition supporters to get that knee-jerk reaction and all of a sudden say the league is done because we haven't had the greatest start. You know, Rangers have had a couple of surprising results as well. The loss to Dundee United, the draw with Motherwell. Still very much a league campaign right now, which I think will provide a lot of surprises along the way. I don't think it's the end of any of the teams dropping points. I think we're going to see that throughout the entirety of this league campaign. So I think Ange is completely right in saying, look, you know, it's a funny game up here. It's a funny league we've got, calling the league after 7 games. It's not done yet. There's a long way to go. I think the opening signs, however, suggest that it is going to be a tough one for Celtic to challenge right till the very end. Am I confident Ange can do it and bring it back? Yeah, I'm confident in the man himself, the manager. I just think that we're not in the best place as a football club at the moment in regards to our injury status, our recruitment, our squad depth to challenge for that title. It's nothing to do with Ange and nothing to do with him at the moment. I think, yes, he's got to take a bit of the blame for yesterday. You can't just deflect all the blame away from the manager, but I think that, he is quite right in what he's saying. Ange certainly didn't hide disappointment from the performance yesterday. He spoke about, and as you can see here, the effort from the players. The players are disappointed, but as I said to them, the result is on me. The performance level they put in with the 3 games in a week without changing the team too much. Not just this week, but right through this period, right to the end, they were still giving everything and still creating chances. I think that there was a little bit of a mixed communication or a mixed reaction, I should say, between fans and manager as to the chances we were creating yesterday. We spoke about that comment he made in yesterday's video, but he certainly isn't happy. I think that a lot of people maybe been drawn into that comment and thinking that he was pleased with what he's seen. No, he's still disappointed with the result. He has taken his share of the blame. He's saying that the efforts weren't there. He's a manager who is certainly being honest about things. And right now, I'm hoping that we can bounce back. We should be able to bounce back, but we have got it very tough. We've got Leverkusen Thursday night. We've got Aberdeen at Pittodrie next week. There are 2 games, and especially in the Leverkusen game, if you're looking at a loss in that, which is very realistic, suddenly, alarm bells are going to ring all around the country from places like the Daily Record and all the rest of it. So it is going to be a bit of a weird one to look at as a Celtic fan. The international break will probably do Celtic the world of good. We need players back in our team. But he is in a really tough situation, Ange Postecoglou. And I think that has been touched on in this article, the fact that there are so many players missing, but he's had such a tough time of it in that regards. And look, you can't use injuries as excuses forever, but you look at all of our players, Kyogo, Forrest, Abada was out for a little bit. You look at McGregor at the back line as well. Juranovic went off. We're missing Taylor. Julien's still out. Look at all those names. That is unbelievable, and it's a tough hand that he's been dealt with in terms of the squad depth already without those injuries. It really is a tough one for Ange, but we still should be accepting no excuses for drawing at Celtic Park with Dundee United. The Daily Record reporting Ajeti as missing in action yesterday. Be hard to disagree with it, to be honest. He was sort of missing in the game. So the best part about the Record, of course, the hotline where they get the public's opinion involved. The people write in, give their opinions. Very Lee Griffiths orientated today in regards to his performance against Dundee against Rangers at the weekend for Dundee. Came off at half time with an ankle injury, but of course his name is very much up in the air right now. And the top quote saying, people thinking that it'll be a surprise to see him see out the season at Dens Park unless he sharpens up. Of course, fitness issues, off the park issues, the latest being the incident with the flare or the smoke bomb last week. Didn't speak about that on this channel particularly. I'm fed up speaking about Griffiths. He brings it on himself at this point, and it's just frustrating. He's been given a chance to go out and play football at Dundee, and his first opportunities, one of his first opportunities, he kicks a flare into the crowd. I mean, what else can be said for Griffiths? He is bringing a lot of it on himself. Very, very frustrating. But a lot of the quotes about him today and his time at Dundee and whether or not people will think he'll do well up there or not, it's a chance for him to score goals, do what he does well, what he used to do best. But he needs to buckle up. He needs to show that he can do that. His time at Celtic is undoubtedly finished. He's not going to return to Celtic and play again, I don't think. That's been made evident by giving him a year extension and then loaning him out. We should never have been given a year extension in the first place, but he's been given a chance to go and score goals, and now once again they're talking about him negatively in the media because of his antics. It is very frustrating, but it is what it is. I can't say I'm surprised at this point. The Monday jury then, let's see, we've got 3 of the Record writers giving their opinions to things. Let's see what they're saying. Should Albion Ajeti keep his place up top for Celtic in the clash against Leverkusen? We've got Craig Swan saying has no options, it's going to have to be Ajeti. Little other options. Yesterday's sitter was a sitter, quite frankly. And Fraser Wilson saying, pretty much one of the only options, but the lack of movement does nothing. Maybe it's time to try Jota and a false 9. Fraser Wilson suggesting that. I don't agree. I know Ajeti's been hopeless, but you're looking at a situation once again where you're putting players into positions but they're not meant to play. I think Jota is a winger. He plays best as a winger. We've seen him through the middle very briefly. I think it was in one of the last games, and I just didn't think he had the same impact. Yet he will have to start on Thursday. That's the reality, whether we like it or not. Jota, we can't shoehorn more players into positions they don't play, I think, even if he's not performing. Look, he scored against Betis. Maybe we get that opportunity against Leverkusen again, but he had, once again, like Griffiths, he's got to buckle up. He's got to buck up his ideas and get himself sorted. So a very, very Celtic-orientated edition of the back pages today. Not too much else to talk about. A couple of pieces, of course, on Rangers and their win against Dundee at the weekend. A 1-0 win, which seen Dundee miss a penalty. Another performance in which I think Rangers fans would agree quite ugly. But they got over the line, they get the 3 points, and it keeps them in a position where, they're ahead of Celtic, and they'll be happy with that. I was hoping Dundee would score their penalty. I'm telling you, if it was Griff stepping up to take it, it would be in the back of the net. When they get out with Cummins, I'm joking, but disappointing in terms of a Celtic point of view. But it's another win for Gerrard's Rangers. It's another chance for them to extend a lead over Celtic. And what can you do about it? And then, very quickly, we won't dive into it too much. We've got the Daily Express, their back pages today. Nothing really Celtic related. We've got a kind of side column, very small, on Ange. I don't give up. Ange Postecoglou insists he's not throwing in the towel on Celtic's title hopes, despite seeing his side slip 6 points adrift of leaders Rangers. But the biggest piece is Ryder Cup, of course, orientated as well. But Hibs, their result there on the back page after they beat St Johnstone 1-0, which leaves them only a point behind Rangers. Serious questions being asked of whether or not they can be the team to challenge for second. But there you go, Ange Postecoglou running on empty. I think, there's a big question mark, and obviously I had my reaction yesterday and I was very negative in that. A lot of people don't like it when I'm negative, but I'm just being honest from what I'm seeing. You've got to judge it whether or not a lot of things happening in all the media and happening everywhere is knee-jerk reactions or serious conversation. Yes, Celtic need to improve. That's being honest. The last few performances haven't been up to scratch, but they will improve, and I've got faith in Ange Postecoglou when he has his best team there that we'll see the best of his football and we'll see the best of Celtic. But it's all about holding out for that, and how long can we hold out? That's the question. Anyway, that'll do it for today's edition of the Back Pages. As I just drift to the side like that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.